Alright. Let's watch each other's back, baby. Watch each other's back. Got a weapon? Got another gun? There you go. Go!
In Afghanistan, the education system has been destroyed by all the wars and conflicts that have gone on. Teachers have been driven out and education buildings have been destroyed. Many students in Afghanistan have been afraid to go to school because of all the violence that has occurred in the education system. The Taliban specifically target education because of fear. In the education system, we propose that we receive foreign aid to the spending towards education. We will use the received foreign aid to spend it on the rebuilding of schools across Afghanistan. We will also use this foreign aid on the spending of good teachers in our education system.
See, Afghanistan has never really had a strong, unified central government, and that's predominantly because of where it's located on the map. So being in Central Asia, surrounded by a lot of other Asian nations, throughout its history, Afghanistan has been invaded, attacked, conquered by several nations. So they've never really been able to be unified and control their whole nation as a whole. Instead, Afghanistan has had many small, more localized, kind of regional governments throughout the time. They've been controlled by many different parties, and one of the more major ones, which was recently, in 1996, was the Taliban, when they took over. And they were able to somewhat unify the whole country, but that's only through using violence and fear to keep the people under control. So eventually, the United Nations had to step in. In more recent times, thanks to all the work that the UN has done, Afghanistan now has a much better government. It has unified the country for the most part. The government kind of mirrors what the US has right now. There's a president, vice president. There's a bicameral legislature consisting of the Senate and House of Representatives, just like the US. Though they have different names, they perform basically the same jobs. There's also a judicial branch which has the Supreme Court being the highest, and also some smaller courts that deal with more local matters. Even though it seems like this would be a very good structure, there are still problems in the government. First of all, there's a lot of corruption going on in Afghanistan today. Just in 2009 alone, over $2.5 billion was spent just through bribing candidates and governmental officials. And that is roughly 1/4 of the gross domestic product of Afghanistan, so that was a big burden on them. Also, many people in Afghanistan have complained that they don't feel that the government is doing anything to help them. They don't have any services that they're providing. And in general, they just are kind of upset with the government. Also, the Taliban is still an ever-present threat to the well-being of the country. In order to resolve these issues, first of all, the Taliban will need to be eliminated from Afghanistan. Similarly, all of the members of the government are going to need to be kicked out that aren't doing their jobs correctly or that are corrupt and have been accepting bribes.
अफगानिस्तान में 15% ये बोलते हैं, 15% वो बोलते हैं, और इस बारे में बड़ा अच्छा कमाल की बात है कि लोग वहाँ पे होते हैं और वहाँ पे नहीं होते। मिड 1990 से तालिबान ने वुमेन को बहुत बड़ा कमाल किया, बहुत मारा है, बहुत गंदे चीज़ें उनको किया है इस टाइम पे। मेरा प्रपोजल अफगानिस्तान को फिक्स करने में है कि हम जो 6 पिलर्स इस्लाम के हम करें वो है कलमा, सलात, ज़कात, हज और फास्टिंग।
So the biggest thing that foreign countries can do for Afghanistan right now would be to pump as much money into the economy as they possibly can right now. This will allow Afghanistan to not be as dependent on the money that they currently rely on, which is coming from things like the opium market and terrorist activities that the Taliban promotes in their case. Secondly, we want to open Afghanistan's trade market into international free trade markets so that they have no problem importing or exporting what they make or take from other countries while we're helping them build their economy up.
All the war and conflict has really prohibited the country from developing into a world-class nation. In Afghanistan, we propose the strength of education in our system. Education will bring innovation to the country, and when innovation comes, industry follows. We also need to rebuild Afghanistan. We need to rebuild the roads, houses, bridges, hospitals, irrigation, and power plants for the better of the country. Afghanistan is reported to have $3 trillion worth of untapped mineral deposits. For the economy, we need to explore the mining industry. A healthy economy in Afghanistan will promote prosperity within the nation.